Hi, you guys, and welcome to another episode of Vlogging with V. I had a really difficult time explaining this one to you because I had a really difficult time explaining it to me. I'm going to be talking about, to the best of my ability, mental health and the coronavirus. Trigger warning, this may seem really selfish to a lot of you. However, I lost somebody that I once knew a week or two ago, only to find out later that she too is suffering from mental illness and drugs and depression. And the first thing I thought was, I wish I would have said something sooner. And so again, what I'm going to be talking about is a mental health issue and the coronavirus. And again, it's going to be from a very superficial, substantial point of view, which is my own. And it's kind of a real struggle to say and to admit, but if we're opening up and being honest, hear me out through the whole video. If you're going to listen to me. If you're not, throw it away. I am actually low-key, this is going to sound bad, but I'm just going to own it, really glad that people are at a place where they can feel what they feel, where they can come to themselves, and no offense, where they're forced to go where I live on a daily basis. If mental illness is anything that impedes your ability to function, then can we not all agree that the coronavirus is, one, not only an illness, but two, definitely impeding our ability to function? I think another thing to note here, excuse me, is the reaction versus response area of our lives that we're all kind of being held accountable to, myself included. So one of the things that I'm noticing within the coronavirus scare is that there is this differential between perceived fear and real fear or real illness, and neither one is wrong. In the mental health institute or arena, we learn that perceived fear is just as scary as real fear or real things that are actually happening. There is a definite neurobiological, psychological, emotional, visceral response inside of one's body when they're in fear of the life for a specific reason, whether it's, again, a perceived fear or something they should actually be afraid of, whether it's a stick or a snake in layman terms. And I think what's happening on a global scale, if we were to kind of zoom out, is this panic response, this panic mode that everybody's going, is also bringing up multi-layers of, judgment and fear and lack of compassion and accountability and all these issues that are coming up, which are great for healing. Because, if you've been working in the mental health field for a while or used to the mental illness area or arena for a while now, you understand that anytime anything disrupting or disturbing comes up, it's an opportunity for you to sit with it and work on it, clear it, figure it out, and move on. So for those of you who haven't done that, so this video, I was really afraid of it sounding like, woe is me and help the mental health system. Yes, and don't worry, it'll get even more selfish than this. But for those of us who have been in this arena for a while, who have been asked already for the past couple years or so, at least a couple months even, to go ahead and already sit with ourselves, no offense, but we're kind of used to this. Even if we've only been doing it for a couple weeks, we're used to what it feels like to kind of have to stop life because of, whether real or perceived danger, to go within because it's scary. And the part that I didn't want to have to admit, which I kind of already did in the beginning, which is I'm kind of glad that all of you are at this place in your life where you're like, fuck, what is life outside? Like, what is real life outside? It's scary. And my fear, this fear has been there since before the coronavirus. It's going to be there after the coronavirus. And it's my fear of being left. I can feel that's true because I want to cry. My fear of abandonment, which is like, yes, people are down here because I consider myself low. Down here with me at this level, they're forced to go within, they're forced to do their joy, they're forced to do their self-care routines, they have lists, like, this is where I live on a daily motherfucking basis, you know what I mean? Like, I'm in my head all the time. Anyways, yeah, sorry. So what I'm saying is that there are many of us who are used to this, and there's many of you who are not. And for those of you who are not used to it, it can be a real struggle. And I just want to say that my heart and my compassion goes out to you. A lot of us, like from a compassionate standpoint, many of us had never had the opportunity before to have to go within and kind of isolate from the world and quarantine yourselves until you feel better. Unfortunately, though, you're in a position where you can't go back outside and you don't have the choice of saying, okay, I'm ready. And like I said, for those of us, and for many of us who don't dive deep into our own deep ancient secrets and, discover these things we don't like about ourselves because we're forced to go within, my heart is with you 100%. And, I guess it just really comes back down to a fear of getting left behind from my standpoint. Like, remember who was there for you. To me, it feels like I want to just plead to somebody, like, please remember, like, this is what mental health feels like. We're trapped. It feels like for mental illness, we're trapped inside of our minds. So for those of you going through this for the first time and you're quarantined in your house and you're forced to go within and face things you don't want to see and, uncomfortable, and demons come up and alcoholism comes up and, depression rates go up and all these things. There's a lot of beautiful things happening in the world. I see that and I flourish with it too, man. These memes are making me feel better. I'll tell you what, humor really is I said memes are the best medicine, but I digress. For those of you who are struggling to come into your own and never done this work before, I love you. My whole heart goes out to you. And also to the rest of the world, remember this is what it feels like to be a mental illness condition, poor mental health condition, and mental health illness patient, is that we're trapped inside of our minds all the motherfucking time. And this is what it feels like for us on a daily basis. And no offense, government, but when you relieve the pressure of having to survive with bills, it makes it a lot easier for us to flourish. I'm just saying. But I just hope, my hope is that there is compassion at the end of the road for this. By the time things get better, that people remember where they came from, remember where they were, remember who they were, remember what they had, remember who they had. You know what I mean? And I guess for those of you suffering with mental health and are enjoying this quarantine time maybe a little bit more than you quote unquote have to or should or can, that I won't forget about you when the rest of the world moves on, and that I understand and that I know that you're still going to, unfortunately, quote unquote, be stuck, quote unquote, stuck inside your own head and quarantine and isolating, and I'm with you and you're not alone, and I won't forget you after all of this, just so you all know. So I hope you don't forget me. But I love you guys so much, and again, this is what I've been doing since day one. I've been coloring, I've been meditating, I've been yoga, I've been journaling, I've been breathing, I've been walking, I've been exercising, I've been reading books, I've been watching movies, I've been asking questions, I've been calling friends, I've been playing board games. This is not new to me. And anyone in the self-care industry or the self-care life because of mental health or illness, this isn't new to you either. And I confide in you, my heart, that we get through this together, and that we show up and we show love and we show compassion, and there's no resentment and there's no ill will towards anybody who doesn't understand this life, that we can show them what it looks like to thrive here, and that we'll be okay here, and that when everyone else grows up and bees a big tall sunflower too, and maybe we're still stuck in the soil sometimes, or we go back and hide our heads, that it's also okay. That we don't have to give back or provide or contribute back to the society or produce like we've kind of pressured ourselves to believe to have to. I'm just saying that this relief of pressure from monetary production and contribution is really helpful. So thank you, government. I'm grateful for this. Thank you. I'm grateful for the coronavirus for that. And again, for any of you who have not done this meditative work before, my heart goes out to you. And for all of us who have been doing it, I pray that we bring to light some positive situations and use all of our CBT skills that we've been taught to bring to them a little bit more lightness and hope in their hearts. And again, I hope that none of us ever forget what it feels like to be this deep, so that we can rise together later on. Okay, that's all I have to say. Thank you guys so much. I love you. Fear is contagious, but happiness also is as well. So feel better, all of you, from an emotional, mental, physical, and financial standpoint. I hope that we all gain the stability in all levels and areas of our life together as we, rise and raise our wellness and our being and quote unquote the vibration of the earth together. So thank you so much. I love you guys. Until next time, V.